Hello, my name is Dr. Sebastian Beduba, and I want to welcome you to this course which I call Intrapreneurship in Technology Service Firms. Now, this course is intended for IT professionals who want to upgrade their business skills. Perhaps you're dreaming of becoming a tech entrepreneur one day. Well, my advice is learn how to be a good intrapreneur today, and you may have a chance someday. My second audience are IT professionals who want to remain employed in technology companies, but they want to be the best version of themselves. You may be in a management position already or in a client interacting position. My third audience are the tech entrepreneurs who are interested in scaling their firms. The fourth audience are non-IT individuals who just want to know how a technology service company works. You may be an investor or simply just a fan. Welcome to our course. Now, I have been doing these kind of trainings for almost 20 years. My personal story is that I was born and raised in Romania. At the age of 12, my whole family emigrated to the United States. Now, this was back in 1989, and I was fortunate to catch the US technology revolutions in the late 1990s. As I finished my MBA in entrepreneurship, I became a business professor. In 2004, I moved back to Eastern Europe, first as a Fulbright scholar in the Republic of Moldova, and now, since 2005, I've been living and working primarily in Romania. In the past 17 years, I've had the privilege to train close to 10,000 individuals in the area of business and management. This course is a condensed version of all those trainings, and I hope it will benefit you as well. I begin this introductory module by answering the question, what's happening in the world and why is IT so important? Next, I want to make a distinction between product firms and service firms. Then we will have a brief discussion of what a technology service company is. Then about the intrapreneur within it, which are supposed to be their pillars. Finally, I will briefly outline each of the following 11 modules which we will have in this course. In closing, I will talk about some of the limitations of the course just to set the right expectations. So, what's happening in the world and how did technology become so important? According to Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum, we are now in the midst of the fourth industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution started in the late 17th century and had the steam power as its main energy force. The second industrial revolution started in the late 19th century and had electricity and petroleum as their energy sources. The third industrial revolution started in the late 1970s and had computing power and connectivity as their energy sources. The fourth industrial revolution we are in started in the 2000s and has data as its main energy source. Now, the COVID pandemic has accelerated this digitalization process and it is affecting everything. So, what is the difference between a product and a service company? Some IT professionals I meet within service companies dream of working for a product company. I don't blame them. The media is full of stories of digital entrepreneurs who are becoming fabulously wealthy. We even have a significant number of investors and other organizations encouraging digital entrepreneurship. I mean, come on, hackathons and pitching competitions sometimes look like rock concerts. The wannabe entrepreneurs up there resemble the rock stars. So I don't blame the rest of us adoring fans who are just dreaming of being on that stage one day ourselves. Now, please do not misunderstand me. I am not criticizing entrepreneurs. I'm not criticizing investors or even the event organizers. I love them. I am one of them. However, I have to warn you, to be a successful product company, you need at least two ingredients. First, you need a brilliant technological innovation. Something that nobody has or nobody does. But even if you have that, that's not sufficient. Successful product companies need a ferocious marketing and sales mechanism. My subjective observation is that most people outside the United States and China do not have those abilities. So my recommendation for most entrepreneurs is prove yourself first in a technology service company, and then you may be an entrepreneur. what does a technology service firm looks like? Most technology service firms were birthed as staffing companies doing rudimentary work for Western companies. This happened in the late 90s, early 2000s with the increase of broadband technology. It was also boosted by the Y2K event. Technology service firms competed primarily on low wages and the availability of engineers. The nation leading this whole phenomenon was India. However, over the past 20 to 30 years, Eastern Europe, Russia, South America, and even parts of Africa have joined into this revolution. Now, technology service firms fall into the following categories. First, we have the so-called cost centers, which sometimes also double as call centers for a Western company. These are wholly owned subsidiaries of a well-known Western firm, but they are located in a low-wage market such as India, Poland, or Romania. Their organizational structure is typically imported from headquarters, and they have little or no sales activity. They are typically very strong in recruitment and human resource development and management. Their competitive advantage is the attraction and development of a good workforce at reasonable prices because of their brand. The second type of technology service firms which we have are those who are not affiliated with one particular firm, but rather service multiple clients. They are typically owned by local entrepreneurs and they behave just like regular startups. Their main concern is sales, and they have to ensure the necessary revenues to stay in business. Now, since they do not have managerial practices imported from headquarters, they have to develop their own. Things start getting even more complicated when you make the distinction between companies located in countries with or without the free movement of labor. Add to this declining demography and an inadequate educational system, man, and you have some real challenges. So what is the future of technology service firms in nations with free movement of labor and declining demography like Eastern Europe? Well, personally, I think that the first developmental area is towards proprietary products. However, as I already mentioned, make sure that you learn how to do sales. I remember talking to an executive at Oracle, and he told me that they have about 100,000 people doing product development. And here's the kicker. They had about 700,000 people worldwide doing sales or resales. At Microsoft, I think that's even more, where people do sales all the time. In my opinion, we only have a chance of about 10% of the IT community of Eastern Europe to enter into proprietary products. So the second area of development, which I think we will have, is learning to incorporate computer programmers from low-wage nations in Asia or Africa into our firms. Now, from a theoretical perspective, this should be very easy. I mean, we just have to replicate what happened to us 20 years ago to them. However, from a practical perspective, we have some challenges. There are a lot of cultural biases, and also, I don't think we're prepared managerially. Some of the principles which I will outline in this course I hope will meet those challenges. It will prepare you to do just that, because that's the future. The third area of development, which I think we need to develop in, is to become consulting companies. This is similar to global firms such as McKinsey, Bain, or the Boston Consulting Group. However, my favorite model is the Japanese company Kaiense. To make this transformation, technology service firms must change their cultures and practices. We must become intrapreneurial. We have to be consultants instead of obedient order takers. So what is an intrapreneurial consultant? Now, theoretically, the concept of intrapreneurship is still being developed. I mean, we have a lot of literature on what constitutes a good worker. We have a pretty clear picture and the literature on what is an entrepreneur. Over the last 100 years or so, we even learned a lot about management. However, the field of intrapreneurship is still evolving. Unsurprisingly, it was birthed in the technology companies of Silicon Valley, such as Microsoft and Google or Facebook. In its simplest form, it is a compensation mechanism which aligns the incentives of the company with the workers. It gives them the incentive needed to stay and work within a large corporation. However, I, along with other experts, take the definition of entrepreneurship much further. To me, an entrepreneurial technology consultant is a better person, a better team member, a better service provider. In my experience, if behavior improves, compensation soon follows. It may be a simple pay increase, a bonus, extra benefits, shares in the profits, or shares in the company. The biggest reason for becoming an entrepreneur is not your company or your clients. You should become an entrepreneur for yourself. The skills we will learn together will be painful in the short run. However, they will give you the freedom and higher compensation in the long run. So what does this course look like? I've divided this course in 3 sections. In the first section, I will focus on the individual characteristics of the entrepreneur. In the second section, I focus on the entrepreneurial team management. In the third section, I focus on entrepreneurial client engagement. We begin the second module addressing the personal characteristic of problem solving in an entrepreneur. Now, as you already know, clients hire you because they have problems, and you must solve them. The ability to solve problems creatively while maintaining a good attitude is the starting point of entrepreneurial behavior. In the third module, I look at the communication abilities of an entrepreneur. All work we do in IT with our teams, our clients, require communication. Unfortunately, our personalities and our heritage are not conducive to us being good communicators. This is the second trademark of a tech entrepreneur. In the fourth module, I will look at collaboration abilities, as most of our work is done in teams and requires collaborations. Our teams are different and dynamic. They come from various disciplines and various nationalities. Collaboration, again, does not come automatic to us, so we have to learn it. In the fifth module, I look at attitude and character as the capstone entrepreneurial behaviors. Attitude and character are vital when developing a culture of trust and sustainability. You can have transactions without relationships and without character. But if you want to build a long-term partnership, character is paramount. In the sixth module, I will focus on leadership and management in technology service firm. Now, this is a very vast subject, and although we may have the official position, we may not know how to do the job. Leadership is proactivity and influence. Whether you're a seasoned manager or just aspiring to be one, you need to learn how to practice basic managerial principles and how to apply them in technology service firms and projects. In the seventh module, I will look at motivation, since there are so many things demotivating us in IT. I mean, come on, people quitting on us, clients changing requirements, or projects just simply going haywire. The level of your team's motivation will determine the level of quality of your services. You cannot have a productive and innovative team unless you know how to motivate them. In the eighth module, I will look at diplomacy and politicking in technology service firms. Unfortunately, most of us think of politics inside of a team as a negative phenomenon. Historically, we have an adversity to bureaucracy and large organizations. However, as the technology sector is maturing, we are increasingly dealing with multinational corporations. We must learn how to politic within them, not to feel sorry for ourselves. In the ninth module, we will learn to understand and, most importantly, care about our client's business. I see a lot of software developers who don't understand their clients. Or worse yet, sometimes they don't even seem to care. Now, I don't expect you to become a business consultant, but you must understand the basic of a corporation and how your client works. You must understand your client's value chain and who the ultimate customers benefiting from your services. In the 10th module, we will learn the art and science of persuading our clients. We will use scary words like sales. These are necessary in our development as entrepreneurs. You cannot be a good entrepreneur unless you are persuasive. In the 11th module, we will conclude the client management section with a module on becoming a global technology thought leader. This module is especially for those of you who are not in the IT sector. or those of you who are in the IT sector, but you want to make a change, a transformation in the greater community. The 12th and last module of this course will be about tech entrepreneurship. I don't think intrapreneurship is right and entrepreneurship is wrong. I just think that different people fit in different environments. I am recording this module so you will have the basic idea of what tech entrepreneurship is. If you decide to pursue it, make sure you do it pragmatically, not idealistically. Let me close with the major limitations of this course. As always, the first one is time. Unlike in-person trainings where we have a whole day, I only have you for about 15 to 20 minutes per module. I apologize for that. Obviously, there's a lot more information which I cannot cover and a lot of questions which I cannot answer. However, please feel free to write me and tell me what other topics you would like to see covered in future courses. The second limitation of this course is that I am not a technical person. I will talk about technology, but from a business, not an engineering perspective. Thirdly, although I want this course to be an international course, my Romanian and American subjectivity will probably stream through. I apologize in advance. Regardless of these limitations, I hope that you will invest the time and energy required for this course. As you go through it, please take notes. Challenge my statements. Contextualize these principles to your particular situation. Remember, your success is my success. So I look forward to you becoming the very best entrepreneur possible. This is your Professor Sebastian Beduva. Let's get to work.